Good morning, everybody. Yes, joyful gathering choir with Lindsay Andrea. Thank you. Oh, yes, love it. Let us feel that our purposes are animated and inspired from on high. And then let us go forth and make our dream come true in human experience. Ernest Holmes. Beautiful, inspiring words. I didn't make them up, but they come right from the founder of religious science, Ernest Holmes. So, today I have a really, really great talk for you. It's taking the leap of faith. Are we ready to take the leap of faith?
Yes.
If we are,
Yes.
this is for you.
Let's go.
If not, this is for you too. Just sit and listen. And those are beautiful, inspiring words, and they actually are accomplishing, what they do accomplish is something else. Has anyone ever taken a dream itself from incubation to manifestation? You like that?
Whoa. Can't say I have.
The embryonic state to the full-fledged experience of living the dream. The seed of an idea to the full bloom of the plant. Anyone that has done any of those things know that sometimes, just sometimes, there is fancy footwork that must happen to bridge the gap. You got a gap going, right? Between incubation of the idea and manifestation of the dream. So you have the seed, the thought, the desire, and then you have all the stuff that goes on in between. It's helping to manifest that dream into fruition, into perfection, and something better than we could even imagine for ourselves. That is what I'm claiming, and that's what I'm knowing. And I remember last month I said that. When one door closes, we all know about the other one opening. We've heard that. But that hallway in between can be fill in the blank. Challenging? I know that's what you're
Hawaiian peace sign.
Well, we can. Well, so can the gap. Let's just say this. So can the gap between the incubation and the manifestation. It doesn't have to be that way, but it can be that way. Anyone knows? And does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That in between?
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, I want to make sure you're with me.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason it happens this way is because we need to let go of the old beliefs, the old way of living, the old way of thinking and feeling. And so all of that has to be cleared away for the true manifestation. So we must come to the point where we are embracing our humanity while experiencing our spirituality. When we do that, we are really preparing ourselves to move forward to manifesting that seed of desire into our actual life, into experiencing it. And the reason it happens that way, though, is because we need to let go of those beliefs that have gotten us right where we are now. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes we want more. We should always want more. The universe always wants more. So it's good. It's in the definition of the word want. It's in the feeling of the word want. Because if you're coming from lack and limitation with that word, then that's what we're going to manifest. But if you're coming from creation, conscious creation with that want, you are setting the law in motion to fulfill your desire. So we can really take control of that gap in between the seed and the manifestation. And the reason it happens that way is to clear out those beliefs which won't let us get to the dream. Have you ever really wanted something and had this great dream and you're wondering why it hasn't manifested? Why it hasn't happened? The stuff is supposed to work. I study this, I take classes, I come Sundays, I go to inspirational lectures, and it doesn't work. It is working. It is working in divine time. It really is. But we have to get to a place right now where we can make peace with those beliefs. We can make peace with those beliefs that won't let us get to the dream. And once we recognize them, make peace with them, we can move ahead. And those little voices and feelings, they don't go quietly. And that is actually called chemicalization. You might have heard it's an old-time use of this word in New Thought. In the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore speaks of chemicalization like this. He says this: whenever a new spiritual idea is introduced into the mind, some negative belief is disturbed. It resists this. With the resistance comes more or less commotion in the consciousness. This is called chemicalization. And that's the founder of Unity, and so that was written about 100 years ago. It doesn't change. Truth is changeless. Chemicalization disturbance often happens on the bridge. When you're taking that leap of faith, it happens on the bridge. We're going to speak all of this month and part of next month about bridging the gap. And to begin with, we're going to turn the word gap into an acronym, which I love acronyms. Grand Adventure in Purpose. Grand Adventure in Purpose. That's the gap, okay? Sometimes that gap, that grand adventure in purpose, can be scary. Can be scary. And yet, what we do inside, within us, makes all the difference of what is made manifest. It is always going to be that inside job, no escaping it. Your responsibility, no one else can do it for you. So this month, we will successfully bridge that gap, if you're ready to. And we're going to begin this morning by joining hands and supporting one another in taking a leap of faith that sends us into midair. Just sends us flying. So for just a moment, take the hands of the person to your right and your left, look at each other, and say, let's leap together.
Let's leap together.
Let's leap together. Yes.
Let's leap together.
Leap it, baby. Okay, that's great. All right, set the stage.
Like a frog.
So, what's going on in your heart? What's going on in your heart? Perhaps a dream that you have right now? Still holding each other's hands and taking the leap. All right, the leap's over. So perhaps a dream that you have right now to expand to a life that you are already living, expanding the life into something bigger, something greater. The divine nature of God is always becoming more of itself. Yes?
Yeah.
That's what we believe. Well, then, if we're creations of this divine expression, we ourselves are really meant to be. Our natural state is to become more of who we are, to become more, always more. Don't settle, never settle, always more. So just from, we did that. All right. Perhaps you desire, these could be some of your desires, perhaps you desire to double your income. Perhaps you want to actually start getting paid for your art, for that which you do, for your singing, for your organizational skills. Perhaps you like to spice up a relationship, or maybe you like to create a new one. Maybe you'd like to shift your career around by transferring to a different department or starting your own business. These are all leaps of faith. Perhaps you'd like to have a healthier, more vibrant transport for God. That's the physical body. To allow the divine to move through us. Maybe you're ready to let go of an addiction. Maybe you're ready to become and would love to become a practitioner or a minister. be any of those things. I know that just not way over, a year over, so it's 26 years ago, I didn't think I had a lot of gifts and talents. I really didn't. And I had a very small connection with the divine, very small connection with God. I knew that I wanted to dedicate my life to something, but what is what I would ask. But what? I don't know what it is. But I want to dedicate myself to something. I want to do something, no idea what. I had just discovered these teachings of science of mind, which I fell immediately in love with, And using these spiritual teachings, I got to a place of using the phrase, which I had no idea what it meant. I want to be a beneficial presence on this planet. I want to be and I said that over and over for quite a few years. No idea really what it meant. But I knew I had to have something to say, right? In New Thought, you got to have an affirmation or some vision. You got to have something. So sometimes, though, in that something to say, we don't know what it is. So in not knowing what it is, I put into the law of creation that always creates that I want to be a beneficial presence. And now I know what it means to be a beneficial presence. And I can still see it expanding. I can still see it expanding. And in my life, things were, at that time, 26 years ago, they were pretty good. But there was this dissatisfaction within me. This feeling, what is called divine discontent. Don't you love that? Yes. Divine discontent. Something was missing. No idea what. There was some expanded way that I felt that I needed to be living. But what was it? No idea. Anyone else ever had this?
Oh, yeah.
A few people, are you with me on this? Yeah. Oh, good. I just don't want to feel I'm the only one. So then you know how I felt. You know how I felt. And know that something very important must happen at this juncture, or you will be sitting here next year still wanting all the same things. So there's a saying in New Thought, treat, which is treatment, which is affirmative prayer, treat and move your feet. Yes. So with that prayer, there must be action. And we're going to talk about that today. There has to be action. Because if you don't follow the divine nudges that you will get, you will be, this time next year, waiting to expand the life you are already living. You'll be waiting to double your income. You'll be waiting to actually get paid for your art and your creativity and skills. You'll be waiting to spice up that relationship. And you'll be waiting to create one. Shift your career around by transferring or starting a new business. This is all taking the leap of faith. Giving up an addiction, a leap of faith. It really is. All of these things are jumping into the unknown, and we know that in the unknown is where the divine resides. And so we're jumping into the arms of God. We're jumping into the embrace of God, and that's where I want to be. And it can be scary. It can be scary. Something has to happen in order for any of those things to occur. We have to take that leap of faith that sends us midair. And I love this definition of faith. Faith is knowing that as you step off the cliff, one of two things will happen. Either the ground rises up to meet you, or you will spread your wings and fly. Or you may have heard this poem, which I absolutely love. Listen to this. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. We can't, we're afraid. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. We can't, we are afraid we'll fall. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. So we came, he pushed, and we flew. The leap of faith requires action, as I said before. You actually have to do something. Most of us usually start the year off with all of our goals and visions for the new year. It's a good this right now is a good time to get clear about our visions and our dreams. And so in January, we make all of these intentions. Well, now we're in March. We can go back and check those intentions. How are they doing for you? Those commitments that we've made. How's it working if you made them? Then all of a sudden, we realize, wow, it's March already. And we haven't accomplished a single thing. Nothing's happened. Why? Why has nothing happened? We even haven't dipped our toes over the edge of that cliff. We haven't even gotten near that cliff. We are anywhere near that cliff because we haven't taken any action, let alone take a leap. If you can relate to this and it sounds familiar, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay, because we're in the now. We're always in the now. I love that now thing, because that's the way I live my life. In this now moment, I can make the decision to take an action. I can make a decision to move ahead in my life and to plant that seed of what I want to desire, what I want to live, the actual manifestation of it. And it's actually pretty common for life to get in the way of manifesting our goals. So we're all in this boat together. That's why today I'd like to share 3 ideas with you that will help all of us get off that edge, get off that place where we feel stuck and stagnant. First, connect regularly, and dare I say daily, with your vision. You need to have a vision for your life. If you have written it down, that's great. Every day, look at that vision. Mine is in my head. Every day, look at that vision. When you're doing your meditation, have that vision forefront in your mind. Every day, you must water it. You must water that seed of that vision. And first, connect regularly with it. And maybe you've heard this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. I use it a lot here. No, I don't. It's the other one. Okay, but this is a good one, too. This is a very good one. Okay, you ready for this one?
Ready.
People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. That's one you can remember. This is the one. I love that one, but I love this one because it's Howard Thurman. Love it. And this is from Inward Journey. So, in the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather and in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. I love that one. It's beautiful. To keep fresh before you the moments of your high resolve. Spend a few minutes each day with your vision. Really reading it, write it out, put it up if you're not holding it in your mind, in your heart, in your very soul. Because in New Thought speak, New Thought terms, this is called a mental equivalent, which I know so many people have fun with that word. They have no idea what I'm talking about when they first come in. It's having the idea, the picture of what you want, and the universal law of God will deliver it to you as long as you stay centered and focused on that vision and you get in touch with the beliefs that are holding you back. Because that's the only thing that's holding you back, your self-doubts, your questioning of things. Just know in your heart, your vision, feel it, embrace it, act act as if it already is happening. And this is the second part. Create a small list. Create a list of small steps you can take right now, today. If you haven't done that already, break your vision into smaller steps. There could be ways, depending on the vision, there's always something, because you'll get divine inspiration. It always happens. Write down every single action that you need to take in order to achieve them. And then set a time of completion right next to them. Make sure to cross off. I love crossing things off of lists. I don't know about you. It gives me great joy. Great, it could be the smallest thing. You know, buy toilet paper. I don't care what it is. You get to check it off the list. It's so cool, right? You feel good.
Right.
So this is the list of your vision. So this is a really important list. Ernest Holmes writes this in The Science of Mind, page 477. Our mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be a well-balanced existence. From prayer to performance. I love that. That's a good one. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where, when we take the action, we can start feeling, I don't care how small it is, we can start feeling the joy of really moving toward the goal. You know, you can have this great, grand vision and no action is taken, and you get lots of insights, you get lots of guidance. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. So what's the point, right?
Right.
Third is the third. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with that. Let go of that which is stopping you from moving forward. A belief, a habit, a negative family member. Well, there's a lot of them around. Only my positive family members are with me today. They bring you down with fear and doubt. You know, a lot of the old thought, new thought writers said, like I think of Wallace Wattles all the time, don't share your dream or vision with anyone. Hold it within your own consciousness, because the naysayers are all out there. Even your own naysayer. That ego comes up with so many different ways that you're going to fail. So I'm saying, turn that all off. Keep it within. Replace that belief. This is important, with a new idea. That's where I feel affirmations can really come in strong. You have to replace an old belief with a new one for it to really take root, for it to really be planted within your consciousness, within your soul. Change the habit. Set boundaries with the person or whatever that is preventing you from succeeding in life. This is not selfish. This is part of loving and honoring yourself. I think the word selfish can be like want, used in two different ways. I see selfish as good. Like, I'm taking care of this self. I don't care what anyone else does. I'm taking care of this self. Who else is going to take care of you that way? Only you can honor you, really, within, fully and completely. And so, it's not selfish to want to honor and respect yourself and move forward. It is part of moving toward releasing whatever is holding you back. This is all about what's holding us back from manifesting what we really want to experience in life. And for most of us, it's happiness. We want to be happy, don't we? I do. I want to be happy, right? Replace the belief with the new idea, as I just said. So it's with these three ideas that I just gave you, firmly planted in mind and in practice, that can take us to that leap of faith. You know, it can be a gradual thing. It can just be abrupt. You know, it could be something that seems tragic and shocking in your life, where you got to take that leap of faith. You got to do something. It could be that way, or it could be consciously created. Either way, head in the direction of knowing there is one power, one source, one good, and that is the divine energy that has created each and every one of us and wants us to live these lives of joy and happiness. Just know that this is a loving, creative field, force, whatever you want to call God in your mind. And it wants to express through each and every one of us. No one left out. So these are the three ideas: to regularly connect with that vision, take small steps with it and to it. And the third is to consciously evaluate and letting go of whatever is standing in the way, to really let it go. It could be just doubt. A lot of this action can take place within the mind, by the way. In fact, most of it does. Getting that mind clear, that's an action. An active clearing out of old beliefs. They call it, people have spring cleaning, well, let's have thought cleaning, and let's do it like daily. Clear out those thoughts that are no longer serving and that are holding us back from experiencing that manifestation we want. So I want to bring this time to a close with a poem. And it's entitled Lessons in Faith. I found this poem and I thought it was really beautiful to read for us at the end of this. Okay, so here we go. Just like a flower in bloom, I have learned to open up and stretch myself, living life more fully than ever before. Just like the bird takes flight, I've learned to spread my wings, lift off, let go, and trust in God's power and presence to support and uphold me. Just like the ocean changes tide from morning to night, I've learned to surrender to God's divine flow and move with the current of life easily and gently. Just like the stars and moon shine brightly in the evening sky, I've learned to be still and let my inner light shine forth. Just like the rain falls sometimes gently, sometimes hard, I've learned to detach from the outcome and stay in the moment. Just like the natural disasters of fires, floods, earthquakes, and storms, I've learned to recognize my part in all of creation, taking responsibility for my destruction and releasing the wreckage of my past. Just like an Arizona monsoon dust storm blurs the landscape, I've learned to stop, meditate, and pray to clear my vision of God's divine path for my life. And just like there is pain and grief over the loss of loved ones, I've learned that life and love go on, transcending even death, honoring their memory in service to others. And just like a butterfly undergoes tremendous change both within and without, I've learned to accept my transformations gracefully with love, forgiveness, and gratitude. And just like God created me in its name, I've learned that with faith and divine right order, anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just have to do it, because sometimes, as this author, Margaret Shepherd, once wrote, sometimes your only daily transportation is a leap of faith. So you can take that leap, my friend. Either the ground will rise up to meet you, or you will spread your wings and fly. I highly recommend us, and I've seen so many people in this community spreading those wings, flying into places they never expected to fly to before, because they had that dream, they took that action, and God's will is always for each and every one of its creations. So I give thanks for that, and we will continue this next week. And so